Good morning everyone. Oh my word, what a beautiful day it is. I'm just fixing myself, I'm a bit sweaty, but who cares? Do you know what? I feel so much better today than I did yesterday morning. It's amazing what 24 hours can do. Jesus, I thought I was dying yesterday morning. Wine is the devil. Wine is the devil. So yesterday I literally spent the whole day eating and drinking fluids to try and hydrate myself again. So I was like, right, come on, sort yourself out, hen. So got up this morning and messing about with the kids, doing whatever, and then I was like, right, coffee, water, went for a run. Now normally when I go running, I always think, right, I got to get this time, or I got to try and get this amount of miles or this mileage. But do you know what? This morning, right, I just went for a run. I didn't go fast for me. I literally was sitting at just over 8.5 minute miles, which is, it's a comfortable distance for me. And I ended up running for like just over 7 miles. And I ran for an hour, but it was just so therapeutic. I could easily have gone and paid a lot of money to speak to a therapist this morning, because we've all got stuff going on. But instead, I didn't have to do that. I just went out into the beautiful countryside, listened to some self-development on my phone through YouTube, and just ran. And it was just amazing. The sun is shining. Morning. The sun is shining. All I heard was animals, birds, cyclists. I saw one other runner, that was it, which is unusual this time of the year. People start getting out there, seasonal runners, they're out there giving it, whatever on a Sunday morning. And it just gives you time to reflect, because everyone knows me and they know how much I love running. But I don't always explain why I love it so much. So I'm going to try and explain it to you now. So for me, life is busy. Always seems busy. And, I am a mum, I'm a nurse, I'm a wife. I've got my own business, makeup business. I never really stop. I work long shifts. But everything I do it for my family. And for me, running gives me a sense of purpose. It gives me a sense of achievement. It gives me satisfaction. I get to just be me. Just be me. I can just go out there. If I've got issues going on, we've all got issues going on, but some weeks there's more than others. We're moving house at the moment, and it's kind of all fell through a little bit, but it's all back together again. And so it's stressful. And for me, running just gives me that time out from life. It gives me time out from life being mentally busy, and it helps with weight loss. It helps with mental health. I'm going to touch on mental health a little bit because I don't really talk about it very much. But after I had my daughter, I suffered severe PTSD and postnatal depression with it. And I was really sick and I was really ill. And it was one of the scariest times of my life. And I decided, I was on medication, and it made me put on weight, and that made me feel even worse. So I decided to start running, and it was one of the best things I ever did. I'm not saying it was easy. It wasn't easy. It was one of the hardest things I've ever had to do. And I continued to run, and that helped me with what had happened with Lucia and her birth. And I had therapy as well and all the rest of it. But the running was the one thing that was consistent in my life, and it's always consistent in my life. There can be so much else going on around me and around everything else, but the running is the thing that I'm always consistent with. And for me, it makes me feel, it's like my comfort zone, going running. And then I came off the medication so I could have my son. And throughout my pregnancy with Byron, I had prenatal depression because I was so stressed and anxious and worried about his birth after what happened with Lucia's birth. Lucia's birth was really traumatic, and but we won't go into that. That's another story. There's bloody flies everywhere. I'm in the woods. And so I then had Byron, and lo and behold, the bloody postnatal depression came back and bit me in the ass again. I couldn't fucking believe it. And it was awful to feel that feeling again. So anyone who's out there listening or watching and who's had postnatal depression, this is a massive hug for you, because it's one of the cruelest illnesses ever. A time when you should be so happy that you've been given this life, and you're not. You're just lost. You just cannot describe it to anyone. The feeling of, well, you just feel everything. Failure, guilt, you name it. You just feel terrible. Anyway, eventually with time and running again after I had Byron, I went back to running. I always seem to go back to the running. It's what helps me the most. And I went back out after I had Byron, and I was so fat, I was so overweight, my boobs were huge. And I remember doing the first run and I came back crying with my head in my hands, saying to Dan, I'm just a big fat mess. I can't run, I can't do this, I can't do that. And he said to me, Barry, you can do whatever you want to do. You don't need to run. I said, yes, I do. I said, it's me, it helps me. So I thought, right, I'm just going to get back out there. And I just kept being consistent. I don't know where I'm going with this life, by the way. It's just all kind of like coming out. Sometimes that's the way of it when you've got so much stuff in your brain. Anyway, so I just kept going. Back out every other day. Was it easy? No. Was it thick? It was hard as hell. I had to breastfeed before I went out because my boobs were too big and it was too sore to run. And I just kept going. And Dan was so supportive because he knew how much running means to me. And so I just kept going. And every other day I'd just go out. I'd walk, I'd run, I'd come back crying some days I'd come back, and Dan would always ask me the same question. How did you get on? Some days I would answer him. Some days I would just give him the finger and go, no, I hated it. But I kept going. I just kept going back out. And before I knew it, the weight had come off. I was feeling good. I was getting back. My mindset was getting back to the way where it should have been. And I decided to train for a marathon. Because I'm crazy. And then, so I did my first ever marathon just before Byron's second birthday. He was 1, and it was one of the best feelings of my life, was finishing that finish line, because I hadn't done it for anyone else but for me. I'd always dreamed about doing a marathon, but I always thought it was out of my reach. And that's the difference, peeps. Never believe that anything is impossible, because everything is possible. You just have to have determination, motivation, and be consistent with your actions. And you can make anything happen. So yes, I ran my first marathon and I was like, this is bloody brilliant. Loved it. And then I managed to get a good for age time to get into London. And then the next year and then the year after that, I did London twice to give both the children a medal from me. It was pretty special, to be honest. It was blooming amazing. And then I got poorly last year when I was training for my 4th marathon, and I'm not going to do a marathon this year. I'm just enjoying running again. Just back running, 3 times a week. I mean, listen. There's nothing, it's just me and the birds and nature. It's so therapeutic. The bird song is it's just lovely, so relaxing. So yeah, I don't actually know where I'm going with my life today. I was basically trying to say Life is hard. No one's life is easy and no one's life is perfect. And anyone that says that the life is easy and the life is perfect is talking bullshit. Because no one's life is easy. But you've got to make it the best that you've got. And you have to believe in yourself. Honestly, you have to believe that whatever you want to achieve in life, you can do it. For me at the moment, it's just about getting my strength back physically, mentally, I guess. And I think it's actual Mental Health Awareness Week. That wasn't where I was going with this live, but it kind of seems to be how it's happening. I still, to this day, suffer with anxiety and I can't get off my medication. I'm still on it since I had Byron and he'll be 6 on Thursday. I can't get off it. Every time I try and come off the tablets, it makes me feel, my anxiety just goes through the roof. So there's just been other things going on, deaths and life and, so I just thought, nah, it's not the time. And I'm not embarrassed to say it, but I stay on the tablets to keep me sane as well. But that is just a small part of what helps me dealing with mental health. What helps me is self-development, running, fresh air, just doing some things for me as well. And don't ever be, it's not a taboo subject anymore, or it shouldn't be. Mental health. So many people suffer from depression and anxiety, and it's awful. It is an awful, awful thing. For me, postnatal depression was horrific. It was one of the cruelest things that ever happened. You think all your life, I'm going to have children, it'll be amazing, it'll be wonderful. And you just feel lost. It's the only way to describe it, is you just feel lost. You don't feel like anything. You don't feel like you. Little doggy. Morning. You don't feel like you don't feel like nothing. It's horrendous. But anyway, you pick yourself up. You start doing the things that make you happy again. And running, for me, is one of them. So what I'm trying to say is find your inner happiness. Find what makes you happy and keep doing it. Start small. Do the small things. Don't get yourself overwhelmed with all the big things. The big things come in time. Do the little things so that every day you feel like you've achieved something. Whether it's just going and getting the food shopping or spending time with your kids or making a home-cooked meal. Just little things that help you feel like you've achieved something. And that, I guess, is the same as running. For me, I'll give you an example. So if I went out running and every time I thought, right, I'm going to smash a PB or I'm going to do this and do that, and I don't do it, that run is going to become a negative thought on me. I'm going to come back and feel like I failed because I didn't achieve what I thought I was going to achieve before I went out. So the next time I go out running, what do you think is going to happen? I'm going to be like, oh God, it's going to happen again. I'm not going to get the PB, and then I'm going to get pissed off at myself. And life is not like that. There is disappointments in life, but don't add extra disappointments into your life. So like this morning, I thought, I'm just going to go for a run, see how I feel, get out in the countryside, it's beautiful weather. And then I was just running and I thought, actually, I'm not going to run fast. I'm just going to enjoy it. I stopped, I took some pictures. I'll show you in a bit. I took some pictures and I just had me and my thoughts and it was just lovely. So I ended up doing, as I said, over 7 miles. I'm now just walking a mile home just to stretch my legs out on my hip because my hip's hurting. And I feel free. It's weird, can't describe it. I feel free. I feel like my brain has been unlocked of its thoughts. I feel like I have achieved more in this hour than I will with anything else that I do today. Because I worked on me, my mindset and me. And it's just a good feeling. Listen to the birds. I love it. So hello. Birds are mental. So just if you're thinking about doing running, then just, get yourself some trainers. Ladies, strap the puppies in and just go for it, because you just never know where it might lead. So I'm going now. I'm not actually sure of the purpose of this live this morning, but I hope it's maybe helped one or two people who's maybe suffered mental health or postnatal depression, and because more women suffer from postnatal depression than we like to believe, because again, it's also another taboo subject, which it shouldn't be, because it's one of the most horriblest things that's ever happened to me. And yeah, so anyway, less of the depression and more of the happiness, more of the self-belief, more of the consistency and the motivation, because everything is possible. It's not impossible. You just have to want it and work hard enough and take the action to make it happen. So I'm now away to go and have some breakfast, because I'm starving, absolutely starving. I might even treat you to an omelette, you never know. My omelettes are bloody awful. I did one and I'm too scared to do another one, because I know the next one might just look like egg vomit. Anyway, I'm going. Have a lovely Sunday and enjoy this weather if it's sunny where you are, and I will speak to you all soon. Thanks for watching. Bye.